On the morning of September 11, 2001, the world changed forever. In just under 2 hours, 4 commercial airplanes were hijacked, nearly 3,000 people were killed. The skyline of New York City was transformed into ruins, the United States entered its longest war, and global politics took a sharp turn toward fear, surveillance, and conflict. For some, 9/11 is a memory burned into their minds. For others, it's a historical event surrounded by confusion, unanswered questions, and powerful narratives. So today, we ask a simple but difficult question. What actually happened on September 11, 2001? This video is not about rumors, not about exaggeration, and not about dismissing grief. This is a fact-based, chronological, and analytical explanation of the 9/11 attacks, what led to them, how they unfolded, who was responsible, and how the world changed afterward. To understand 9/11, we must first understand the world before it. Before 2001, air travel was completely different. Passengers could accompany friends to the gate. Cockpit doors were thin and unlocked. Hijackings, while rare, were often treated as negotiations, not suicide missions. Meanwhile, the United States stood as the sole global superpower after the Cold War. Its military bases were spread across the Middle East. Its influence shaped governments, economies, and conflicts. But beneath this power was growing resentment. The center of the 9/11 attacks was Al-Qaeda, a militant Islamist organization founded in the late 1980s. Its leader was Osama bin Laden, a wealthy Saudi national who once supported the fight against the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. Over time, bin Laden grew furious at U.S. military presence in Saudi Arabia, American support for Israel, sanctions against Iraq, a Western influence in Muslim countries. Bin Laden believed the U.S. was the root cause of instability in the Muslim world. In 1998, Al-Qaeda openly declared war on the United States. They were already responsible for 1998 U.S. Embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania, 2000 bombing of the USS Cole. 9/11 was meant to be their ultimate strike point. 19 men carried out the attacks. Most were Saudi nationals. Several were educated, fluent in English, and lived quietly in the U.S. for months. They trained in flight schools in Florida, Arizona, and California. Importantly, they did not need to learn how to land planes. Their mission was simple: take control, aim, and crash. The operation was planned for years, funded covertly, and coordinated with extreme secrecy. 8:00 a.m., a normal morning. It was a clear Tuesday morning. People were heading to work. Kids were going to school. Stock markets were about to open. For flights took off from the East Coast. American Airlines Flight 11. United Airlines Flight 175. American Airlines Flight 77. United Airlines Flight 93. None of the passengers knew what was coming. American Airlines Flight 11 stopped responding to air traffic control. Hijackers had stormed the cockpit, likely killing the pilots. At 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At first, many believed it was an accident. News helicopters filmed smoke pouring from the building. Then the truth began to emerge. 8:09:03 a.m., just 17 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. This impact was seen live on television. At that moment, the world realized America was under attack. There was no confusion anymore. No accident. No mistake. This was terrorism. Inside the towers, chaos erupted. Firefighters rushed in. Office workers ran downstairs. Some were trapped above the impact zones. Despite the danger, first responders climbed upward, knowing they might not return. Many made final phone calls. Some helped strangers. Some prayed. Within the towers, acts of bravery occurred that would never be fully recorded. 8:09:37 a.m. American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, the heart of U.S. military command. This confirmed the attacks were nationwide. The United States was now facing an unprecedented crisis. United Airlines Flight 93 was delayed at takeoff. This delay saved lives. Passengers learned about the other attacks through phone calls. They realized they were part of a suicide mission. Instead of surrendering, they fought back. At 10:03 a.m., Flight 93 crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. Its likely target was the U.S. Capitol or White House. Those passengers became heroes. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower followed. The collapses were caused by structural damage, intense fires weakening steel, a massive weight from upper floors. Thousands were killed instantly. The New York skyline was forever changed. The U.S. grounded all flights. The stock market closed. The country entered shock. President George W. Bush addressed the nation, stating, "The United States will hunt down those responsible." America was at war, though the enemy was not yet fully defined. Within weeks, intelligence agencies concluded Al-Qaeda, led by Osama bin Laden, was responsible. Bin Laden later released videos admitting responsibility, framing the attacks as revenge. There is no credible evidence that the attacks were staged internally. Independent investigations, engineering studies, and intelligence reports support this conclusion. Warnings existed. CIA had tracked Al-Qaeda. FBI had reports about suspicious flight training. Intelligence was fragmented. However, agencies didn't share information effectively. The idea of planes used as missiles wasn't fully anticipated. Bureaucracy slowed response. This failure led to massive intelligence reforms later. In October 2001, the U.S. invaded Afghanistan to remove Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. This marked the beginning of the war on terror. Later came Iraq War, drone warfare, global surveillance, Guantanamo Bay. The consequences of 9/11 extended far beyond that single day. After 9/11, airport security transformed. Surveillance increased globally. Civil liberties were restricted. Islamophobia rose worldwide. Geopolitics shifted toward permanent conflict. For many countries, 9/11 reshaped foreign policy. For millions, it reshaped daily life. Many conspiracy theories exist. Controlled demolition, inside job claims, no plane theories, but extensive investigations by NIST, independent engineers, journalists, found no evidence supporting these claims. Skepticism is healthy, but facts matter. Nearly 3,000 lives lost. Thousands more died later from health complications. Families were permanently broken. 9/11 was not just a political event. It was a human tragedy. 9/11 was a coordinated terrorist attack, a failure of intelligence systems, a turning point in modern history, a tragedy that reshaped the world. It was not simple. It was not random, and its consequences are still unfolding today. Understanding 9/11 is not about fear, it's about learning. Because history ignored has a way of repeating itself.